want to share?
Yes, and
Go ahead.
I want to give you a choice whether I have the spark for reading. I can read out the current prisoner dilemma that we have, like all have the same facts around what I'm talking about when I'm talking about our current world situation, or we can make it in a conversational style.
Yeah,
And I'll sum it up because I don't know how do you not everybody might have gotten it. The 3 pages summary of our current world situation.
Why don't you summarize it?
No, I didn't see any. You can do whatever you want.
Okay. Then I start now, yes?
Yeah, you do that.
So as an introduction, I became concerned about all this kind of thinking and also introduced into science via a friendship and a couple of meetings and a telephone love affair I had with Heinz von Förster, one of the founders that most will know, but I don't have to explain who. One of the founders of cybernetics and of this name-giving story of how cybernetics came into being, that he suggested it in the Macy conferences. And I came into cybernetics. I went on publishing for a couple of decades now. It's about like more 20 years now. And so I was asked to write, forgive me by the way, when I really have to rethink the whole thing in English, because I'm normally so used to speaking German at the moment that it is really difficult in this to switch around. But I was asked about the history of cybernetics and its relevance to write together with Maturana and a couple of other cyberneticians. And they're thinking about it. I came to write the article Hack or Die, how a society thrives into its cyber future or post-digital future. And it occurred to me that because the cybernetics founded digitalization, and it founded like the game plan of our current way we live in through John von Neumann, in helping to design the first atom bomb with the first version of his Neumann architecture, which is still used in almost every computer we use nowadays. And it was used to form the atom bomb, and he further formulated together with others game theory. And also his game is now where we're living in, as the game he invented is what we call now the delicate balance of fear or terror from mutual self-extinction. That means, this is also why I'm not as positive as although I really love and I think I understand. I get very passionate when I listen to Michael's presentation. But the possibility that one one power needs to control the other geopolitical opponent or be wiped out instantly, changes the whole game. And it's the basic of the new game of humanity. And so in Hack or Die, I tried to present that, as the name is, it's a delicate balance. And we have to hack, and anyone who is interested in human survival has, of course, in some way, and that's the new game, basic game rule, has to think about how to hack this balance. Because it's only delicate, and it's obvious that humans can't survive in that state where the opponents can eradicate each other and the whole planet for a long time. So I published this article and was later invited to write about the world situation for the 150 years Gandhi Jubilee. For Michael, you might know Leo, who
Yes.
and we have published together. I'm really glad that we did.
Yeah.
I might say in this occasion, and we already had this, that you had this really excellent view about how, and now I must step away from my program for a second, but this really excellent view about how we have to reconnect to Earth consciousness.
Yeah.
In order to reorganize our lives, what Leo is doing with his Pharaohs concepts.
Yes,
in his
Pharaohs is really good. I like his Pharaohs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Mm.
But so I like this, and my point, what I think, what is really important in, because it's already a counteract from or a remedy against what I'm now continuing to say, is that the studies with psilocybin and meditation not only showed that the changes in the brain were significantly better, but also in psychiatry, we think that we can learn a new understanding of the living brain through psilocybin acting on the serotonin markers of the brain and giving the brain a reaction. You talked before about it, because the psilocybin brain reaction has very strong similarities to near-death experiences. And it seems to be a restart of the brain. And the hypothesis is also that because we have a surrogate of psilocybin, DMT, in our brain already, that its function is that the brain can survive longer without oxygen at the same time. So these people who are experiencing these experiences, they have no brain waves, and they should not experience anything, but they do. So I think this world exists, and I think that we need social help, and also that we need medical help, because psilocybin is now a neurotransmitter to free us of the state in which we are in. And now I want to come back to the stage, I think, in which we are in. So back then, I said that the need of control pushes the geopolitical opponents into cyber wars and hybrid wars, which are of course are also economical wars, because you have to gain, and what are now called, what we are now in are hybrid blitzkrieg wars. You change the economic and social reality with the help of internet, of political intervention. There's a whole package, and everyone tries to gain as much advantage as fast as possible. And now, so why is this happening? And I have now three things. So the first thing that is happening is that 1 year after I wrote this conclusion on the nuclear situation, on the near escalation, and which forces the opponents to try to gain an advantage, to get out of the delicate balance of power, and one which was too far out from me. And you see, I'm a very strange person, but it was too far out from me, was Francis Floyd's, who is the designer of the anti-bioweapon law, because of which the bioweapon research had to be put to Wuhan. And about 1 year later, I already got in contact with him. So he informed us and me that we could circumvent the nuclear standoff, for example, by having a virus which kills the opponent. And you don't also know, it's a hybrid war form. You don't know who set off the virus. So you can't even react in a nuclear strike. But in order to have this possibility, you must invent a situation where you vaccinate your population in a regular manner without suspicion. Otherwise, this circumvention is not possible. Because, of course, if the Chinese start vaccinating all their people, the Americans know there's something up. But as I'm going to say, only 1 year later, when the COVID crisis started, I realized that we're going to go in this direction, that this is a way to circumvent or to win the nuclear balance of power by introducing a virus for which you have the only survivors. And I think that what is happening now, that we're coming into this situation, is for the same reason I've wrote for the Gandhi Jubilee. Is happening for the same reason, that the pressure, because we are in a near nuclear escalation all the time. We have, like, just today, 84 jets of the Chinese military flew again into, no, it was yesterday, it was 54 into Taiwanese territory. And of course, you know, America would be actually in need to assist them. So we are in a constant situation where we are in danger of a nuclear escalation. And this drives forth the cyber wars. And the solution that one has come up with, or we have come up with, how we approach it at the moment, as far as I can understand it, is that everyone tries to get, and what we talked about distinction, everyone tries to get an ultimate advantage over the other geopolitical force by further inventing and further getting data from his own population and for the geopolitical opponent's population via AI. Because you don't know what you can invent with AI unless you probe it. You don't know what the power of the other person or the other geopolitical forces until you probe it. So I think that there will be no other game or rules that can survive in the momentary situation. I think that the momentary, I call it hyper war ethics, anything goes till everything till everything is gone. Of course, we will get rights back, and I hope there will be a Nuremberg trial about what is going on, because I believe that the genetic experiment that goes on now at the moment will be a marker, or already is a marker. It's not will be. It is a marker of how much can you do with your population, and you have to do as much as possible with your population and extract as much and as good as data as possible out of the population. Because right now we have really many people, but this society, as it produces little offspring, will not exist quite longer in that way, because we don't have the offspring. And so we need to get the data out of the civilized situation to gain the advantage, the technological advantage to be superior, to get out of the nuclear balance of power. And because this danger is so big that now through hypersonic weapons, the intercontinental missiles can arrive like in 2 to 3 minutes. There's no interaction time. That's no chain of command in which a human can interact. That means this hyper fragile situation has to also be given to our autonomous machines. So the control has to be given anyway to the machines. And this puts us into the situation that every geopolitical power has to throw everything in it, everything it got. And this is also why I believe we see that the normal rules, the normal reality that we have thought that normal world we're living in has really ended about 2 years ago and is not coming back. And I think here I want to make a stop. I have one big game changer I haven't talked about, but I think this is already pretty intense for the first time hearing it.
So then what would be the solution?
Right now, I'm publishing a book, Alien Ethics and the Human Survival. And it starts that today we are living in a world where it's more likely that the aliens will save us than we save ourselves for our own survival.
So the solution is to live through this jokingly.
No, of course. And I think it is a humorous situation, because there's a little point for myself, I would like to add, because I was really unsure if I could even present this today. Because in my further investigations, Robert Hastings, I don't know if anyone knows the former deputy of national intelligence, Robert Hastings. He had interviewed military person about aliens, because he was asked to investigate the situation of aliens in nuclear facilities. And we have indeed a decades-long history of aliens and nuclear facilities at the moment. For the first time in the history of the world, the American government has acknowledged, they call it UAP, the unidentified aerial phenomena, because UFO would have made the people think. Because of course an unidentified aerial phenomena is exactly what we called UFO. But they didn't want to admit to UFO. But the thing is, Robert Hastings has made a 40 years documentation about with military personnel, and we have many occasions, or not many, but over the decades, where they interfered with the military, and especially even launched nuclear missiles in Russia, and locked down a nuclear missile base in the USA. And there's a strong, I'm just telling it that this is what really exists. There's a strong fraction in the military, because since the corona pandemic, the alien sightings, or the things, let's not say aliens, but the UFO sightings have increased so much and also interfered with military maneuvers that they forced the US government to recognize them. And now they have their own department, which is starting for it. But the main point is really that Robert Hastings and a lot of people in the military, they believe that the aliens are interfering in a way that they're showing us the UFOs. We don't talk about that, they are more correct than I. They are interfering at the way that they're showing us the instability of our nuclear balance. And you have like a strong correlation over our development of nuclear weapons and nuclear facilities and alien sightings. So this was the last thing that really got me excited, because I had the same question as you. What are we really gonna do? And I thought, my best guess is the aliens can help us, because we are trapped by our own logic. This is what I have to propose. We are trapped by our own logic, that we know if we don't get a strategic advantage, any moment the game of humanity which we are playing can be over. And now is the only time to gain this strategic advantage. And the last person or the last people you want to interfere with gaining this advantage is your population. So I interpret the corona pandemic as a civil war of the governments against their own population, because the population, the rights and the needs of the population, they stand in the way of achieving this technological advantage, which is the main goal was always important in military, but through the event of the computer and the atom bomb, it has become clear that this is the all-controlling game. And whether the environment goes hang in between, it's bad for the environment, but our game can end like any minute and everything is on stake. So I don't see how to compete with the psychopaths who can play such a game, because we are like normal people. We can only organize for ourselves and our own. And here I meet with Michael. We can organize our own clarity and our own group of people and how we relate to each other. But this is a psycho game in which only aliens with superior technology can interfere. I don't think that normal human beings can play a role at the moment, how the game is set.